Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Commodity TV and the new edition of our online interview series. Today, we want to talk with IsoEnergy, and Tim Gabruch, the CEO, is here with us. Good morning to Canada. How are you, Tim?
Yeah, Joachim, good afternoon to you. It's great to be here.
Yeah, thanks, and great for taking the time. Uranium is, I would say, on the run and in the positive motion back, and we are at $50 uranium. So it looks like that there is a new setup here for this case, as it was a long time not really the appetite for it. But now we see with the CO2-free power generation, we need a lot of uranium, and obviously we don't even need only producers. We also need to find new uranium for all those nuclear power plants coming up. And IsoEnergy, I think, is one of the top picks in the exploration stage here. So it was a little bit quiet the last months, but I'm pretty sure you did a lot of work. So first of all, I would love to hear about your 30 drill holes with over 12,000 meters you have done at La Roque East, for example, and also how is the summer drilling going?
Yeah, great. Thanks, Joachim. Yeah, it's interesting times in uranium for sure, and yeah, we have been busy. Like, not a lot of news coming out maybe, but we had a very busy drill season for the winter. It was a long season and a really difficult one, even by Saskatchewan terms. It was a cold, tough winter to get work done, but our team did a great job. 12,000 meters at La Roque, so through La Roque East to the eastern side on exploration, but also continuing to do some follow-up on Hurricane, following up on some of the summer drilling and some of the results that we had there. Our story and our explanation of Hurricane's always been that we will continue to drill and do really some step outs. We, through the summer last year and this winter, we've been doing decent sized step outs to really find the scope and scale of Hurricane. Last summer we really found what we thought was probably the edge on the north and the east. We had some good results to the south, so we've been, we were exploring those through the winter, and we definitely found a little bit more mineralization. But I think we're coming to the point where we're looking to put out a resource on Hurricane, in the near future, to try to give the market a sense of what we're seeing with that deposit. So that's that's some of the work going on behind the scenes, and of course that work has also teed us up. We did a lot of geophysics, ground geophysics through the winter. On a number of projects, and so that will tee us up for the summer. This summer we've got another program planned, another comparable size program, and we'll get some news out on that shortly. But we'll certainly spend some time at the La Roque East, continuing on the exploration side on the eastern side of the property. Also get back to our Geiger property, which we drilled last summer. We did some additional follow-up geophysics this winter to try to identify the best targets. We'll get back up there and then do some other drilling and conduct additional geophysics for future programs.
Okay, so with those 12,000 meters which were completed, have you released all results? No, I don't think so.
We did all the the radiometric readings, the radioactive readings coming out of that drilling. We haven't released all the assays. There wasn't significant mineralization, so there wasn't a rush to get out those results. I mean, the one thing with uranium, of course, when you see the initial results, by the readings whether you've got significant mineralization or not. So there wasn't anything significant to put out there. We'll issue those reasonably shortly with another release, but there was nothing significant there on the mineralization side. But we did, a lot of that work is very helpful going into the summer program, because it gives you some good, we found some good alterations, some good structures that we'll continue to follow up on through this program.
Okay, cool. Then I saw in your press release, drilling at Cameco Corp's La Roque Lake Zone on the neighboring property to the southwest has returned historical intersections of up to 29.9% U3O8 over 7 meters in a drill hole. So this is, I think, still at La Roque and with the Hurricane zone. Does that mean that you are now doing something together with the Cameco property also, or is that just like that you see, okay, hey, we have the same geology, probably the same geophysics? That's very positive for us.
Yeah, no, we're not doing anything with Cameco or Rano there. I mean, for those that that have seen our slide deck, and you can go to our website and see our corporate presentation. If you look at the ore body, our the Rockies property has a very clear border. The ore body is up against that border. On the other side is Cameco and Orano do have a property, the Dawn Lake property. They've been done a lot of work there in recent years, but just over the last year, they've done some geophysics, and we know they were doing some drilling this last winter. So that's that's positive. That's not our story. We'll continue to move forward Hurricane on what makes sense for IsoEnergy. Certainly, if they're continuing to do work there and something shows up and it's it's additive to the Hurricane deposit, I'm sure that we'll hear about that news in good time. But yeah, right now there's no cooperation going on there at all.
Okay, super. So with Larry's and Hurricane Zone, I presume that this is really the focus of your work, and you want to bring out then the resource estimate, as I think this is the jewel which you have really well advanced in your company. So what will you do then with the other projects? Because when I look at your map, which I have here in front of me from one of your news releases, I see a lot of let's say projects you are owning, like Hawk, Eagle, Geiger, Cable, Spruce, Evergreen, whatever. And what do you want to do? Do you want to consolidate there something? Do you intend to partner with somebody? Because I could imagine that's quite a lot of work for the future.
It is. I mean, those that know the ISO story, I mean, the view was when we set up in 2016, obviously we picked up the 5 initial properties from NextGen, still our majority owner. And, and then there was just a great period of time there at the bottom of the market to pick up a lot of other great properties that had been left behind that, had even decent results, and there just wasn't any capital, no funding available. So we picked up, you're right, a lot of properties. We got 24. One thing about kind of getting Hurricane advanced to the stage where, we're looking to put out a resource, we'll look at, what are the next steps with Hurricane. That does free us up to do, drilling on some of these other properties that we've also liked a lot right from the get-go. So, we know, as we picked up the Rock in 2018, and ever since we found Hurricane, that's been the focus of the company for the most part. Over the last year, we have started to, get out a little bit, and we did some drilling on Geiger, as and we've been doing more and more geophysics on some of the other projects in order to do the work to keep those projects, but also to line up targets for the future. So yeah, this summer, we'll go back to the Rock as I mentioned, because that eastern side is on the exploration side is still very prospective and very interesting to us. But we'll do more Geiger. We're going to get out and do some drilling on a Trident property, and yeah, we're going through that process. Which of these is our top picks, and which of the other ones are we interested in perhaps looking to partner with other companies, companies that we know and respect, and would like to work together on some of those. So all of that's open for discussion for sure, and we're going through all those strategic conversations internally at home.
Okay, super. And I saw also already the Geiger project had some good geophysical results. I think that looks quite favorable. And you did also on Ranger and Hawk already geophysics. So what is the status there? Will you maybe drill also something soon there?
Yeah, so we did some geophysics this winter on Ranger and Hawk. That's right. We're not going to get onto those this summer, but we are definitely looking and analyzing that data, and we'll look ahead to getting on them soon. In a future program, we did additional geophysics on Geiger in 2 separate zones this winter. We will get back and do additional drilling on Geiger. So between that, we also did some airborne on our Collins Bay project last year. We still like that project. There's a few other challenges there on licensing and just getting access to certain areas of that property. But all these things take some time. But we're certainly looking ahead to all of these top properties that we have in the portfolio, these very high quality projects, and when we'll be able to go on and do some exploration on these properties.
Okay, super. So let's assume you have a very positive resource estimate for Hurricane. What would be your next steps, and where do you see, let's say, the bigger picture for for hurricane?
Yeah, I mean that's the great question. So I think it's going down the normal path. We'll get out some results, and and it's going down that scoping level study, I suspect, and then get into a PEA, and just do the program in a very deliberate way to assess the deposit. Maybe there's a little bit of follow up drilling there. But also assess, mining methods going to be big, in the basin. Certainly, we've got a high grade deposit. There's a lot of other, unconformity type deposits in the basin that, today are looking at different types of mining methods. You look at Denison with ISR. You look at Orano's doing a lot of work with its Sabre method. So these are, both kind of non-invasive types of mining where there's no underground development. They're from surface, and it's meant to go after some of these deposits that maybe aren't elephants like a MacArthur River, a Cigar Lake, 200-300 million pounds that can really support that underground development, but maybe a little smaller but incredibly high grade, world class deposits that are looking for a little innovation around how you mine them. And so I think that's going to be some of the focus that some of the things we're focusing on as we start to look at the next stage of hurricane.
Okay, super. So how many meters do you think you might drill in summer? Just an estimate. I know forward-looking statement for the regulators.
Yeah.
And do you have the money to do so?
Yeah, we'll do a very similar program, something between what we did last summer and this winter, something in that same range, really not backing off the exploration side of things. We do have the money. We're still cashed up. We've got just under $8 million Canadian in the bank. We have tended to spend between 3 and 4 for each program. So we certainly have the money to carry us through the summer and really through the year. We've been very, conservative on raising money. We've had, there's lots of people interested these days in uranium, as you know, and so there's capital available, but we've kind of held off to just sort of have what we need to use. And so we'll look at it at the time that's right for us. Certainly, there's been a downward trend in the market in general. Uranium's got caught up in that, but very fortunate for uranium and nuclear. Nothing bad is happening in our industry. So even though we've had a little bit of a downward turn with the market in general, everything looks great for uranium. So we're not worried about the support down the road, and we'll look at we'll raise capital only when we need it.
Okay, super. Perfect. Maybe a last word from your side on the uranium market. How do you see the situation? And could you imagine that we will be by Christmas already at, let's say, $80 per pound?
Yeah, I'm not going to make any predictions on that. I've made predictions for 20 plus years, and they've all been wrong. What I'll say is, just like I alluded to, a second ago here, everything is looking really good, Jochen. So not only you might have sort of this general market downturn, but behind the scenes, obviously, the supply demand fundamentals, which have been improving, as for the last several years, are very robust. I mean, we're still digging into a lot of inventories just to meet annual demand. So that piece is key. It's very important, and it still looks great. And then you've had all these other influencing factors over the last couple of years. Certainly, you had Sprott and the Sprott Uranium Trust that's been big on kind of advancing or at least accelerating some of the market by taking some additional material out of the market. But even as things were looking great, then you've got all these geopolitical events. Certainly Kazakhstan early in this year, a little bit of problems within the country caused some concerns, sort of at a higher level, just worrying about security of supply from that region. That kind of dissipated pretty quick, but then you've got this, incredibly terrible Russian situation in Ukraine, and that, has a big impact on a lot of industries. My office is right across the street from Nutrien, the world's biggest fertilizer company. Those guys, potash is influenced enormously by that, and so is uranium. Uranium equally so. The Russians still supply a lot of uranium and nuclear fuel in general, enrichment, conversion to U.S. utilities, to the Europeans. It's changing, in a big way right now, and it's going to continue to change. It'll take some time, but that factor is going to have a big impact on uranium, and it's gonna really cause people to focus more on where do we want our uranium from? So someone like an IsoEnergy that's got a world-class, deposit coming around in a geopolitical, jurisdiction like Saskatchewan, that's going to be very attractive. There's going to be more and more attention to, the U.S., to Australia, and certainly to Saskatchewan, and the incredible resources here as the place that people want to buy their uranium from.
Absolutely, I see it the same way. Super, Tim. Thank you very much for the update, and yeah, we waited for hopefully very good and very high resource estimate, I would say.
Yeah, Joachim, thanks for your time. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Yeah, pleasure to see you. Thank you very much, and wish you all the best. And I have a good feeling that we talk quite soon.
Sounds good. You bet.
Super. Thank you. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Tim Gabruch, the CEO of IsoEnergy. And you heard it. It was quiet with the company, but they did a lot of work here. Yeah, I wouldn't say behind the scenes, but they did a lot of work here really with the company and are very active. And yeah, the summer drill will really start soon probably. And also they have $8 million approximately in the bank. So that's also fine. They want to spend 3 to 4 million. So that might be another 8 to 10,000 meters easily. And also we look really forward to a 43101 resource estimate here. This is, I think, the big thing, the next big milestone for the company, because then we see what they have at Hurricane. So I would suggest, if you like uranium, you have a very close look to IsoEnergy. Thanks for watching us, and bye-bye from Switzerland.